All right. Hello, everyone. So we're going to be talking about creating a simple custom design using the TinkerCAD software, which is found online. You don't have to download anything. Just go to tinkercad.com and you'll have a slightly different window. But essentially, I've created a class for the workshop, and I'm going to share the link with everybody. We'll agree to this. All right, so this will be the code that will get you into the class, and you'll pick a nickname for yourself, and that way you'll be all set to go. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to take a look at activities, and we're going to be creating this coin. So I want to create a new design. And it's a 3D design that we're making. And TinkerCAD gets us all squared away here. So the first thing we're going to do is I want to set my snap grid settings to 0.5 millimeters. Okay, so that's going to adjust how this works. And we're going to start with the cylinder. So we're going to take the cylinder, left click, hold, drag onto our work plane and let go of the left mouse button. Now, using the mouse, using the scroll wheel, you can zoom in and out by rolling or scrolling the scroll wheel. The right mouse button will allow you to orbit around your part. The left mouse button doesn't really do much other than selection. So I can draw a selection box and I can select things. And then holding down the mouse wheel as a button allows me to pan my screen. So mouse wheel scrolling for zoom, mouse wheel button for pan, right mouse button for orbit, and left mouse button for select or drag selection. Okay, so after we drop the cylinder, this is pretty much how TinkerCAD works. You have the option of making it a solid or basically making it a negative, making a hole in your object. The sides we're going to keep at 20. We're going to keep all this pretty much the same. So what we want to do is looking at the different boxes or controls, we have a height control and then the 4 sides to drag out to whatever size we want. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to click on the one corner down below, and I'm going to left click on the text that says 20, and I'm going to change it to 48, and I'm going to hit enter. And then the secondary 20, I'm going to left click once in there and make that 48 and hit enter. Okay, so now we have a 48 millimeter by 48 millimeter cylinder. Next is to find the height grip, and I'm going to left click to select the height grip. I'm going to click on the 20, and I'm going to make it 4 millimeters high. So click 4 and hit enter. Okay, so now I basically left clicked out an empty space to deselect. All right, we have the basics for our coin. Now we're going to add a little ring to make it a little bit more coin-like. So for that, in my basic shapes, I'm going to move down, so use my scroll wheel. Where are we here? Here we are. And we're going to use the tube. So I'm going to left click on the tube, drag it out, and I'm going to place it on top of our coin and let go of the left mouse button. All right. And first thing that we're going to do is we're going to say that we want this to be a negative. So I'm going to change the properties to make it a hole. All right. And we're going to do something similar here. I'm going to scroll in. I'm going to click on the corner, and we're going to make this 44. Hit enter. click on the second one, make it 44 and hit enter. And the wall thickness, we're going to change the wall thickness. So I'm just going to click on wall thickness. I'm going to say 0.825. Let's do that. So now we've got a different wall thickness. And I want to center this, right? I can just left click on the invisible wall and kind of do my best to center. You'll see that it does give you X and Y coordinates. So you can use that. The other thing you can do is you can go to the top left. They have a view cube, and you can click on the word top, and that's going to give you a top perspective. Now, it might seem a little off because we'll have to see if it's in perspective mode or in orthographic mode. Orthographic mode is essentially a flat mode. So that button is down here. So switch to a flat view. All right, so I'm going to left click here. And I've got a flat view. It's not in perspective, and this looks pretty straight on. So I've got this centered where I want it. Now I'm going to use my right mouse button to orbit. And what I'm trying to do next is to take, you might have to select it again. You're going to take this grip, and this grip allows you to raise or lower. So I want to lower this to 3.50, just a 0.5 millimeter. Just drop it in there. Okay. And once you've done that, and you can do this one at a time, or you can do it after all the parts are kind of brought together. I'm just going to lower that casually. All right. So now I'm going to do a left mouse selection over everything. And I want to group these together. When I group them together, you'll see that the negative space is now cut out. So TinkerCAD makes it very easy to do things like this. All right. Now we're going to have some fun. We can use the scribble tool. The scribble tool, once you click on it and place it, we're going to place it on top of our coin. It basically changes to this straight on graph with a blue dot. This is basically like a pen, and we can create our name. So I'm just going to go ahead and use my mouse to the best of my ability to draw my name. Oh, I don't like that. Scratch this out. And go back to the pen. And there we go. So I've drawn it. Once I'm done, you can sort of see how it looks. It's very large right now, but that's okay. We'll resize it and rescale it in a moment. So I'm going to click done. And I'm just going to use the grips. Now, those grips, I can stretch it. If I hold down the shift key while stretching it, it'll keep the proportions. All right. So I'm going to place that somewhere like right on the bottom. That looks good to me. All right. So once you've scaled it, placed it, you're going to use that drop arrow and drop it down a 0.5 millimeter. So it should be 3.5 millimeters. And I want this as a whole, right? Negative space. And then I'm going to select everything and say group. And what that'll do is that will make the negative space. And last thing is we're going to put in the HVCC flame logo that I isolated. And that can be found on the G drive. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to import. And I'm going to choose a file. And let's see, I'm going to go to the common drive. And I'm going to go to CAD. And then right there should be the HVCC flame logo. And I'm going to hit open. And where are we centered? So it's an SVG file. And they're asking us where to center it. Do we center it on the artboard or on the art itself? And at what scale, possibly what dimensions? So I'm just going to say center it on the art, and I'm going to worry about the rest later. So I'm going to hit import, and it's doing its thinking. And it basically places the logo on top of our art, and I can click on it. And I'm going to hold shift while left clicking the corner mouse button so I can scale this in proportion. And I'm going to try to get a top view so I see exactly where this is going. And looks like everything is scaling. So actually first, let's do this. I'm going to take this and I'm going to raise it. There we are. And then I'm going to go onto the top view. And I'm going to scale this and try to center it. All right, perfect. So now that I have it placed, I'm going to orbit back down. And as you guessed, I can probably lift this up a little bit more just so we have room. And I'm going to drop it to 3.5. Barely setting it inside. Again, select everything, group it all together. Oops, I forgot to make it. So I'm going to undo Control Z. I forgot to select and make this a whole. Now I'm going to select everything and group it all together. So now I've got my coin. I've got my custom coin, my custom 3D model, and you can play with your own settings here and add different things after. TinkerCAD makes it really, really easy. It does name things and, bizarre little names that it gives it. So don't worry too much about that. You can definitely click on this and change the name. But essentially now all we have to do is we have to export this. And if you hover over it, it says download in 3D print. So we're going to click export. We're going to ignore this because that just takes it into Fusion. So sorry, didn't mean to click on that. But basically what we want to do is we want to, for 3D printing, so we want to save it as an STL file. All right, so you're going to click on STL and it'll download that to your downloads folder. And then we'll take that and bring that into the Prusa slicer. All right, so thanks for watching. We'll have another part on the Prusa slicer soon.